The story follows twin brothers Jade and Ma, born into a family of crooks and outlaws. Jade embraces the life of crime, proudly stealing whatever he can, while Ma dreams of breaking free and living a normal life far away from it all. Despite their differences, the brothers still move as one team, snatching anything they can to survive. In the opening scene, the twins hunch over a safe they've just swiped. With a crude homemade explosive, one of their many perfected tricks, they blast it open and scoop up stacks of cash. Bursting with adrenaline, they rush inside to flash the money before their family, earning cheers and proud nods from the household of thieves. But the excitement doesn't last. Their mother, Kath, a seasoned thief herself, arrives outside with her boyfriend, Glenn. They've just pulled off a daring emerald heist, but cops are hot on their tail, and Glenn is bleeding from a gunshot wound. With no time to waste, Kath hurriedly hugs her boys, warning this might be their last goodbye. She throws her bag over her shoulder, climbs into the getaway car, and speeds off with Glenn just as police sirens wail in the distance. On the road, Glenn clutches his wound while Kath promises she get him to a hospital. But in a frantic act of desperation, Glenn seizes the glittering emeralds and swallows them whole. The story then leaps 25 years into the future. Somehow, the couple vanished with the emeralds, now valued at $4 million, while Jade and Ma never escaped the shadows of crime. They're still pulling heists, skirting prison with each close call. Jade swears every robbery will be their last, whispering about a brighter future, but Ma no longer believes the empty promises. He's bitter, weary, and tired of risking his life for a dream that never comes. One night, they set their sights on another house, this one carefully studied and mapped out. In their van, waiting for the right moment, the brothers argue about the mother who vanished decades ago. Ma curses her name, saying she abandoned them to a life of crime, while Jade defends her fiercely, insisting she did what she had to do. After the tension cools, they gear up and slip inside the house. Ma works the safe with the skill of a seasoned thief, while Jade stands guard near the door. Suddenly, a security guard appears, shining a light straight on Jade. Trying to think fast, Jade stammers that he's delivering a package, but the guard doesn't buy it for a second. He steps forward to grab him until Ma lunges from behind and knocks the man out cold. Panic surges. They race toward the exit, but disaster strikes. The house is already surrounded by police. Ma dives behind furniture, but Jade is caught and cuffed on the spot. As he's dragged away, Jade mutters under his breath that maybe staying home with a plain meal would have been better than chasing yet another last job. 5 years later, the story takes a sharp turn. Jade is suddenly released from prison earlier than anyone expected. When another inmate asks how he pulled it off, Jade coolly replies it was for good behavior, but that's a lie, and he knows it. As he walks out the gates, a police officer named Farfel is waiting. It's revealed that Jade's early freedom didn't come from good conduct, it came from Farfel pulling strings. In front of the others, Jade acts grateful, even saying he'd help Farfel's mother if she ever needed it. But the officer isn't amused. Dragging him aside, Farfel makes it brutally clear. Jade's release is no gift, it's a deal. He wants the emeralds Kath stole 25 years ago, and if Jade even thinks about backing out, Farfel swears he'll send him somewhere far worse than prison. To seal the threat, he shoves a phone into Jade's hand and orders him to stay in touch. Meanwhile, Ma has managed to escape the criminal world. He's working in a restaurant, living quietly, married and waiting for his first child. His past feels buried until disaster strikes. Out of nowhere, his boss fires him on the spot. When Ma demands a reason, the man coldly explains that he lied about his record when he was hired. Ma protests, insisting he's changed, but the boss doesn't care. Frustrated, Ma returns home only to find Jade sitting with his wife, Abby. Startled and uneasy, he drags Jade outside and demands to know how he's out so soon. Jade confesses he cut a deal with a cop and must pull off one more job. He tempts Ma with a plan, a clothing store with a safe bursting with cash, one Ma could crack open effortlessly. But Ma snaps back he's done with crime. He reminds his brother that Abby's parents and brother are coming over that very evening for a family dinner, and tells Jade to just eat, behave, and leave quietly. The night grows tense when the guests arrive full of cheer. Over dinner, Jade begins telling embarrassing childhood tales, even joking that people once doubted Ma would ever be a father. The air freezes with awkward silence, but no one dares respond. Later, Jade steps out for drinks and meets Ma's brother-in-law. Together, they get high and begin screaming into the night like wild men. Ma, furious at his brother ruining the evening, explodes and beats him until Abby rushes in to separate them. Afterward, Ma finally tells Abby the truth: Jade wasn't in the army at all. He was rotting in prison for robbery. But Abby quietly admits she already knew. She says a man like Jade could never pass for a soldier. Then she softens, confessing that both of them have made mistakes, but it's time to leave the past behind for the sake of their child. But Jade's troubles only grow darker. Returning to his hideout, he finds 17 missed calls flashing on his phone. Before he can react, Farfel storms in, slams him into the bathtub, and demands answers. He roars at Jade for ignoring him, then demands the emeralds. Jade stammers that he's working on it and just needs time to assemble a crew. Farfel sneers in disbelief. He pulls a gun, forces Jade's fingerprints onto it, and hisses that one wrong move will land him back in prison forever. Then, to drive his point home, Farfel smashes his fist across Jade's face, knocking him out cold. Hours later, Jade slowly comes to, his head pounding, and sees Ma by his side dialing 911. But Jade suddenly hurls the phone away and gasps out the truth: he doesn't need an ambulance. He needs help with something far more dangerous. He tells Ma how Officer Farfel threatened him, forced his fingerprints onto a gun, and left him trapped with no way out. Desperate, Jade begs for help, saying the only answer lies with the emeralds. Ma, torn between anger and pity, finally agrees. He asks where the safe is, and Jade explains it's in a nearby city 2 days at most, and the job will be done. To buy them time, Ma calls Abby and spins a lie. He tells her Jade's grandmother is on her deathbed in another city and he has to take him there. Abby snaps back, furious that he'd even consider leaving her in her condition. But Ma reassures her he'll just drop Jade off and return quickly. He adds that if they don't get rid of Jade now, he might end up living under their roof forever. Reluctantly, Abby gives in, though clearly unhappy. The brothers hit the road and stop at a rundown motel for the night. Inside their room, they discover only one bed. With a laugh, they decide on rock, paper, scissors. Ma wins, but instead of claiming it, he insists Jade take the bed since he spent years on prison floors. Jade refuses, saying it was Ma's idea to come here, so he deserves the comfort. In the end, neither gives in. Ma curls up on the sofa, and Jade stretches out on the hard floor. Meanwhile, Farfel storms into Jade's empty room and finds nothing but a stuffed dummy lying under the covers. Enraged, he traces Jade's phone only to find it smashed and tossed in a toilet. His fury boils over as he realizes the brothers have slipped away. On the road again, Jade insists they make one stop before the heist he needs to visit someone. Ma protests, urging focus, but Jade won't back down. He explains that while locked up, one person supported him online through letters and messages, and now he just wants to meet her once her house is on their way. Ma, irritated and suspicious, finally gives in. They arrive at the house of Jade's girlfriend, Bethesda. Shock floods her face when she sees him. Tears brim as she scolds him for not telling her about his release, but softens when she hears about his struggles. Taking his hand, she pulls him into the bedroom, blasting loud rock music as the door shuts. Left alone, Ma wanders the living room, flipping on cartoons until the unthinkable happens. An orangutan strolls in, slams the door shut, and lights a cigarette. Startled, Ma freezes as the ape coolly introduces itself as Samuel. Ma nervously replies with his own name, but then the ape leans too close, acting strangely. Uncomfortable and disturbed, Ma jerks away and bolts out of the house, shaken. While Bethesda steps into the bathroom, Jade seizes his chance. He rifles through her purse, steals her work ID, and slips out the window. He hops in the car with Ma, brushing off his brother's terrified rant about Samuel with a laugh. Hours later, at another motel, Ma snoops through Jade's belongings while he showers. His blood runs cold when he finds a hidden stack of letters. They're from their mother, Kath, the same woman who abandoned them decades ago. One letter stops him in his tracks. In it, she writes, Our plan is in motion. Just don't tell Ma anything about it. Raging with fury, Ma corners Jade and demands to know why their mother only wrote to him. Jade fires back coldly, saying it's because Ma has anger problems and lets his emotions spiral out of control. The words cut deep, and Ma explodes even more, accusing his brother of lying through his teeth. He claims there is no locker, no cop, no deal, that Jade made it all up from the very beginning. Disgusted, Ma grabs his clothes, vowing to walk away for good. But just as he storms into the corridor, an impossible sight stops him dead. Kath, their mother, suddenly steps out of a room. Shocked to his core, Ma stumbles backward and tumbles from the railing in disbelief. Later, the three sit in a dimly lit bar, tension thick in the air. Ma glares across the table and demands answers. Why didn't she return for 25 years? Did she ever think about what her sons went through? Kath lowers her head and admits the truth. Her greed and terror of the police drove her into hiding. The scene flashes back to the night Glenn swallowed the emeralds. Though they escaped the cops, Glenn's wounds proved fatal. With sirens still closing in, Kath buried his body in secret and vanished overseas. Now, back in the present, she confesses she's dying. Time has run out, and she returned only to make peace before it's too late. Ma scoffs, refusing to believe a word of it until Jade speaks up. He says their mother has brain cancer and no more than a year left. The revelation stuns Ma, but he still shakes his head. He doesn't want diamonds, emeralds, or blood money. He wants out, but Jade presses hard, his words sharp as a blade. He tells Ma they aren't stealing, they're only reclaiming what's already theirs. Then he twists the knife deeper, asking if a waiter's salary is really enough to raise a child in this world. The cruel question rattles Ma to his core. Against his better judgment, he finally sighs and agrees. Just this one last job. The next morning, the unlikely trio drives to the site where Kath once buried Glenn. At the same time, Officer Farfel barges into Bethesda's house and demands answers about Jade. Terrified but defiant, she says she doesn't know anything, and even if she did, she wouldn't talk. But Farfel snaps and grabs her, snarling for the truth. Under pressure, she breaks and admits Jade came with his brother, stole her ID card, and disappeared without a word. Before Farfel can press further, the orangutan Samuel suddenly storms in, drags him inside, and savagely beats him down. Meanwhile, Ma uses Bethesda's stolen ID to slip into the construction site where she works. There, he hijacks a massive JCB machine, and the three head to the burial spot. The ground shakes as Ma digs deep, unearthing the skeletal remains along with the glittering emeralds. But just as victory is in their grasp, disaster strikes. The furious landowner and a group of men arrive, yelling that the ground belongs to their private golf course. Chaos erupts as golf balls whiz through the air like bullets. One man grabs Jade, but Ma tackles him aside and drags his brother free. The three fugitives sprint into the forest with the emeralds clutched tight. Once hidden in the trees, they pause just long enough to bury Glenn's remains properly, laying the ghost of their mother's lost lover to rest before pressing forward. With the emeralds finally in their hands, Jade feels triumphant, as if destiny itself has aligned. Their mother's plan, buried in shadows for decades, has finally reached its endgame. He reflects on his prison years, on Ma losing his job, and how despite everything they've managed to make it work, but his words strike a nerve. Ma freezes, remembering something chilling. He never told anyone about being fired from the restaurant. The realization cuts him like a blade. His dismissal was no accident. His own brother and mother orchestrated everything, manipulating him into joining this cursed mission. Fury erupts inside him. Ma snarls at Jade, spitting accusations, calling him a liar, a manipulator, a thief not just of money but of his peace. Jade admits he twisted the truth, but fires back that Ma isn't innocent either. The fight escalates fast, words turning venomous until Ma snaps. In blind rage, he swings a shovel and smashes Jade, sending him crashing down into the very grave they had just dug. Shaking, Ma stumbles away and collapses near the riverbank, clutching his head, trying to steady his breath. Soon, Kath finds him there, alone and trembling. He glares at her with raw pain, asking if she came back for them, or only for the emeralds. She admits her sins, saying she failed them as a mother. If she couldn't give love, Then maybe she could at least leave them with money before death claims her. Her voice breaks as she repeats what Jade already revealed. She has brain cancer, and her days are numbered. But before any peace can settle, Farfel storms onto the scene. He seizes Jade, snarling for the emeralds, and threatens to drag him straight back to prison. Ma charges in to save his brother, but Farfel's brute strength crushes him. In seconds, both brothers are tied and helpless. Cornered, Jade makes a desperate choice. He boots the emeralds away. Kath scrambles and picks them up, and Farfel grins, offering her one final choice: save her sons or run with the loot. For a heartbeat, it seems she stands with her boys, but greed, the same greed that destroyed their lives decades ago, takes hold once more. Without a word, she bolts with the emeralds. Even Farfel is stunned at her betrayal. Sneering, he drags the brothers toward his car, vowing to deliver them to the police. Jade spits out threats of exposing his corruption, but Farfel only laughs, mocking them. Who would believe two career criminals over a police officer? Jade clings to hope, saying their mother will come back. Ma, broken, whispers that she never will. Farfel drives off with the brothers bound in the back. But chaos explodes when Jade lashes out, kicking him in the face. The car veers violently, crashes, and the officer is knocked unconscious. Seizing the chance, the brothers free themselves and flee into a junkyard, hearts pounding as they catch their breath. Ma grabs a phone and calls Abby, promising he'll return home soon. Jade, however, urges him to walk away now before it's too late, but Ma refuses. He reminds his brother that their mother still holds the emeralds, and they can't stop until they end this nightmare once and for all. Meanwhile, Kath slithers into a diamond exchange. With trembling hands, she trades the emeralds for piles of cash, but slyly keeps a few for herself. Stepping outside, clutching her payday, she freezes. Her sons are waiting. Their faces show nothing but betrayal and bitterness. Ma demands to know her plan, demands to hear the truth. She stammers, searching for excuses, but old habits win. Just like before, she bolts. The chase is on. The brothers sprint after her, their footsteps echoing through the dark halls of an abandoned mall. The fight spirals out of control as the bag of money slips from Kath's hands and crashes to the floor. Jade lunges toward it only for Officer Farfel to storm in, gun blazing. His furious voice echoes through the mall as he screams that he'll finish them all tonight. Shocked and cornered, Jade and Ma raise their hands, pretending to surrender. They try to calm him by offering the bag, but Farfel snarls that there will be no deals. He wants everything, no questions asked. Tension boils as the brothers turn on each other again, trading bitter blame for the mess they're in. From above, Kath watches in silence, her eyes filled with regret, knowing her own choices have torn her sons apart. Suddenly, Farfel fires a warning shot into the air, forcing the brothers' hands. They toss him the bag, but the second he rips it open, a hidden canister bursts, pepper spray blasting into his face. Screaming in pain, Farfel fires blindly in every direction. A stray bullet slams into a gas cylinder boom. The mall shakes as a massive explosion engulfs the room. Farfel is hurled across the ground, broken but still alive. Seizing their chance, the brothers snatch up the bag and rush toward the exit, but their path is blocked. Police swarm the area, guns raised, sirens wailing. Just when despair hits, Kath appears. She walks forward with eerie calm, ready to surrender. Turning to her sons for the last time, she urges them to slip away through the back while she takes the fall. Weeks later, the dust has settled. Mom meets with a corrupt judge, sliding him a bribe in exchange for the gun with Jade's fingerprints. The shocking twist: this judge is Officer Farfel's father. Smirking, the man takes the payoff without hesitation, wiping the slate clean. Ma returns home where Abby greets him in relief, and that night Jade arrives too. For the first time in years, the family shares a quiet meal together, free of chaos at least for now. Later, while helping clean up, Jade drops a revelation. He used his share of the money to buy a piece of land under Ma's daughter's name. Ma then confesses that he handed his cut to the judge because deep down, he always trusted Jade to be there if he ever needed help. The truth sinks in. Both brothers are broke again. But at least they still have each other. Months pass, and the family visits Kath in prison. The moment she sees them, especially her tiny granddaughter, her eyes light up with joy. They talk and laugh for a while, but when visiting hours end, she quietly returns to her cell, leaving her sons to walk away with heavy hearts. In the parking lot, Jade halts Ma and reveals a secret. From his pocket, he pulls out 2 glittering emeralds. Stunned, Ma learns the truth before Kath surrendered. She swallowed the last of the gems, just like her old lover once did, and secretly passed them on to Jade. Now the brothers finally have a chance at a better life. Overcome with relief, Ma smiles at the thought that their struggles are over. But Jade smirks, revealing that their mother gave him not 2, but 3 emeralds. And one of them, he's keeping for himself.